What is up? Work here, and today I'm going to be doing a post commentary on what is a very relaxed and chill Algeth'ar's 19 fortified run. And sometimes I'm gonna chop these up into like really short videos where like only a couple like interesting things happen, and sometimes I'm just gonna let fly and do like the full long ass commentary like I've done in the past. I kind of like doing these. I don't know why. Something to learn. So I'm going haste. I had a little chat with the group ahead of time, and I was like, "You think we're taking verse so that we can live, or like go for damage?" And everyone was like, "Ah, it's only a 19. Let's do damage." So I took haste, which is going to help out a little bit as the BM hunter. So again, I had a chat with the tank ahead of time here, and the call here as we're seeing executed are basically all the left trash, but not the third pack of skitters, which you can see flying around back there. So, do give the DH a lot of time to kind of gather them up. Didn't misdirect because I'm not MM at the moment. And we're just having at it here. He did give the note, our tank, that, not to hang out in the flowers because you can't see the green circles, which I was like kind of noticing. And but I'm a BM hunter, and I'm born to roam free here. I'm just gonna be jumping around in circles. If I'm not circle strafing around the trash, I mean, why are we even playing BM hunter then at that point? So I'm not too overly concerned with padding on this type of stuff anymore. MM used to be like, or not MM. This trash when I was like learning and trying to impress pugs or something like that. I was like, oh, we're like max damage here, but it's kind of a bait because if you get hit by this green circle ever, clipped by it at all, you're pretty much done. So I'm mostly just trying to find like the right mob to cleave off of. I'm not even multi-dotting, which would like, raise the DPS on the chart, but ultimately multi-dotting barb shot, this trash isn't going to die any faster. And mostly my job at this point is, clear thundering there, which is a little scuffed. That was a tank clear. It's always kind of scary. I don't think there's any frontals here, but there's a lot of dungeons where if you clear with a tank, you're just risking it. You might as well turtle. For me, if I'm a hunter and I'm going to clear with the tank, I should almost just turtle on these high keys because any frontal, you're dead. You're just instantly gone, and then the tank has to clear with your body, and it's sometimes it's a wipe if you die like that. So at these like mid high tier keys at this point, it's pretty much just live. Don't really worry about your damage so much. Like I have 4 piece on this hunter. Mythic bow, not the Mythic crafted, not the Raz bow, but not that would matter on this trash that much. But it's pretty much just live and do your rotation, and it's not about hitting huge numbers here. So yeah, watch the circles, and I think the thing I wasn't doing, again, I'm just trying not to die to the circles. That's pretty much like my main job, even though I'm still gonna run around circles. That's like why I play this class. But I could have been tranking the skitter flies, but they weren't really killing anybody. But I certainly should have like tried to get them. But again, this is Algeth'ar tree trash. There's like 30 mobs. It's sometimes I'm gonna spend so long trying to go select the skitter. It's like if we're not dying, they nerfed it. Originally at one point, you needed to definitely trank them or else you're dead. But they changed the AI so they don't like 2 of them don't target the same person and just one shot them anymore. Those were fun times. So this is post tree nerf. I don't think it's gonna get nerfed again. It seems quite fine now. You'll see how like pretty relaxed this is gonna be, and we're not like, I mean, actually, the feral's pumping, but I'm not really pumping on this boss. I just do like, look, I'm about to lose stacks. Like, what a joke. I'm not like big braining this at all, like at all. And there's a couple misplays about to happen, and stacks rip, no stacks again. Frenzy stacks gone. It kind of doesn't matter though. I guess our feral's hard carrying at the moment. Maybe that's why it doesn't matter. But I've run with this group quite a bit. This is a full guild group at the moment. So I guess the feral's just carrying us. I guess that's probably what's happening. I'm just dropping stacks constantly. I didn't stack with the tank, and I'm not playing this super well. And it's at 19. It's like, oh, but I guess our feral's carrying is my kind of like post analysis here. And after the nerf, you saw we killed the tree, the branch. I did hard focus it a little bit, with plenty of time to deal with this before like the bad germinate happens. And feral carrying again, and I am literally going the wrong way in trolling the entire group. So this is like a massive misplay on my part. I don't think I've had full stacks the whole time, which is impressive as a decently geared BM hunter. Just don't even have stacks at all. But I mean, we've done it. We just did a bunch of, I think in this like run of keys we ran as this group, we timed like 3 or 4 19 keys and finished some 20s. So it's like I kind of have a feeling of like who's gonna do damage when. And yeah, this looks like pretty much like a feral carry is holding us down here. And I'm trying to just not die again. Like that's the main thing where this will just go to absolute hell, is if someone's like, if when the DPS dies, then even if I'm not contributing like, top tier optimal MM or BM damage to this tree, as long as I'm doing something to them at gear level like 404 or whatever I'm at right now, it's like the tree is gonna die, right? So like at this point, when everyone here is about 400 something, oops, I ate a circle. Didn't even die though. It's only on tyrannical 19. I'd probably be dead at the moment. But yeah, I mean we're playing. I'm playing this like really kind of poorly, but not stressing it, and just trying not to like die to like the main mechanics. That's kind of, to me, that's kind of what happens at this point. Before this season, I didn't really push into 20s. I tried to push into 20s in season 4, like right at the end of Shadowlands when I was like coming back to kind of figure out what my main would be for this. And didn't go super well because I was pugging, right? So there's not that opportunity to talk. You don't really know the group you're with. A lot of it now I run with like maybe 1 or 2 consistent guild groups, and then some the rest are pugs. But even just like knowing like what your tank's going to do and what they expect, what class they are, in combination with what healer you're with and your DPS comp, you get a feel for like where you can kind of chill, or where like, okay, this is kind of your job sort of thing. And once you kind of have that going, even at these like quote unquote higher keys, like I think 20 is like the new 15 pretty much. So it's like, I guess like a mid to high key. Anyway, like you're gonna do the damage. The group's gonna, this group, if there's no hard carries going on, everyone's gonna do the damage. It's pretty much don't die, is so much of it. Even if I'm doing like mid, like 50% of what I could be outputting, if I don't die, we'll still kill the boss most likely. And that's on AA. AA used to be my like least favorite dungeon because the tree boss in the beginning, if anyone remembers, well, I guess it wasn't impossible because people were certainly downing it in the first month at like level 20. But I found it pretty difficult, and I was running with pretty coordinated groups. And before they nerfed the timing of the germinate and the branch, that was hard. We were doing like 18s and like hard stuck on tree with like geared people, with people who know what they were doing, and it was still like, wow, this is really hard. Like we would lust the branch, and like DH Rogue would have to like completely annihilate it, and me as an MM would like true shot it or something, like crazy, I thought. But now it's like, this is now one of my most favorite keys, and so much that you can play BM, where BM I'm like not really that concerned about my damage that much. I'm just like kind of vibing, and that's why I like Hunter. Is like once you kind of get at gear level, it helps if you have a good group too, but you just run around in circles, as you see me doing. I'm like almost taking my own life running into the gust because I just like running around in circles so much. This trash pack is just one continuous long pull with Spiteful, which is if I was a rogue, I would be very sad. I was playing my alt rogue this week, and Spiteful is the absolute worst because everyone just runs away from it, so you never can stealth again. So it's really bad. So I'm quite happy to play the Hunter here. And, this is close to like optimal BM Hunter AoE damage, like pretty much 3 stack the whole time, multi-dotting almost every single time I can, using the legendary proc, which is that little arrow right there. Basically means that I've barbed and then my kill command's going to be buffed up. And yeah, we're, on this like basically meaningless trash here. We can sustain 100 on however many is here. So if you really are like trying hard that day, like in Nagu double pulls or AA trash, you can definitely like top the meter, so to speak. But I don't really care as BM at that point. It's I pretty much could like turn off the audio and just start like shooting stuff. It's like why I like this class. MM you have to think a little tiny bit more because you have cooldown timings, and you're like, am I holding for this? Like, when do I think this is gonna die? Using True Shot at the wrong time as MM is kind of bad because then you might not be, pumping to kill like the big trash pull, which is bad on big fort keys, and then or you might want to be saving it for the boss. There's a little thinking. There's no thinking with MM or with BM Hunter here. My trinket is the controlled current now from the raid heroic. So I just get a lust every 2 minutes basically on my own. It's pretty nice. Wow, this is a long trash pull. I want to like kind of fast forward it, but like I said in the beginning, it's like one of these long kind of just like wandering. This is my first time watching it back too. I remember this key being really smooth. I might not even die during it. Is that possible? It's possible I don't die in this key. I certainly die in the other 19s we did this night, but as far as the like Knockood, if it goes well, like I don't want to blame anyone else, but if if the tank pulls the packs in a way that we don't end up dead, basically, and there's a couple bad ways to pull Knockood, and the healer can handle the Ellie boss, like, and we kick reasonably, I don't die in Knockood, but I do. But I mean, like, Knockood in here, it's like these are pretty chill as BM Hunter, and I don't feel as bad as I did in the beginning about like dying constantly here. This isn't the place I die. I die in Court of Stars. I die in Ruby Life Pulls. Who doesn't? There's no one lives the entire Ruby at like a 20. Like there's not yet. I don't think ever. That seems like almost impossible to live every trash pull there on Fortify. The trash is so nasty. But here, this is like my favorite key now as a BM Hunter. Just huge numbers, uncapped AoE, and then second would be Knockood. Knockood is like at this point I should have like the run I did with Kalamazi. It didn't go especially well, but I still think it like if you're a BM Hunter and you're like looking to have fun keys, it's basically Knockood in here are like super awesome. Like mobility is really helpful, as we'll see on the bird here, and like that is the BM Hunter special. And like, so who's hard casting here? So we're here with our mage. Rack usually plays arcane because it's meta, but we're at the point in the season where I think people are like checking out different alt specs and whatnot. So he's doing Frost, still pumping. But actually Frost is pretty mobile, but there's definitely classes that are like kind of need to sit there and plant. Like if I'm playing with a priest, I'm full mobile, so I'm gonna go, I'll go to him and clear Thundering or her, etc. That being said, I don't do the ball mechanic here too often, and though I do run with this group pretty frequently, I actually don't know their cadence for who usually does the ball. I'm definitely a BM Hunter and able to, but I don't really know their plans, so I'm kind of like letting them do it. And we have a feral, so pretty mobile. I certainly could be picking, maybe I chuck one, or maybe we kill this so fast that it doesn't even matter. Something like that happens. I'm not really paying attention that much on this bird. I'm just pretty much like zoning out and being like, don't stand in red. If I have Thundering, clear Thundering, and that's it. That's BM Hunter life. I'm just always moving. This is MM is a lot more calculated because you're gonna get like sucked in, and you have to like while getting sucked in, guess if you're gonna live an aimed shot and not get caught in fire. Plus the frontal and the tornadoes and Thundering. As a BM, that stuff's like whatever, doesn't really matter unless you like end up as a really bad timing. You're not gonna eat any of those mechanics. And we did normal-ish 50k single target. That's fine, Again, running with Kalamazi. I only bring him up because he's like pretty geared. He was like 415 and playing like a pretty meta ranged class. When he has portal and PI, he's single target in keys 80k, which is a lot, which is an awful lot of, and this hunter is doing 50. No lust? Did we lust it? I think we made a lusted in the middle. But, no lust, no... or maybe even with lust, whatever. Just, like, doing your normal rotation, not really even thinking too hard or doing anything. BM Hunter right now is 50k. That's fine in a 20. Not on Tyran. Even on Tyran, it's pretty good. So, I wasn't paying attention just there, but I'm pretty sure I kicked the Scepter. That's the only one that matters here on Fortified, or in general. So you want to kick the Mystic Blast, and then mid rain cast, like he has to already be casting it, then you can stun it. So I can single handle that, and then our tanks over for the rest because he's a DH, so he's got the kick and the stun. We've probably already used the AoE stun or something like that, but worst case, these circles come out, and only person hard casting here is the mage, and he's playing Frost, so I think Frost is pretty mobile. I haven't played Frost yet. I did some Fire and Arcane and decided that that's too hard. Went back to Hunter. So, I got booped there by the big Ravager or whatever. And, it's some damage on a 19. As a Hunter, as we get towards the 20s, like 21, 22, they did a 21 right before this without me. and they said this part was pretty hard, you know. So that Ravager hits really hard on the higher keys. So we talked a little bit about it, and we're gonna try the tech now. Is Quasi just made a video on this. No clear, GG's, like it. Again, I'm on the Scepter. Looks like the first stun is out. I didn't watch. No, it's still coming out. There it is. But we fire breath it plus stun it. But you know, on the higher keys, that dashing mob will take you pretty low, and there's a lot of other stuff going on, and it happens pretty frequently. And so, like on a 21 fortified, you're fighting this pack for like a long time. So there is this strat which we're gonna kind of go test out after this pull, where on that big charging Ravager, where again high keys is gonna start to hurt, you can attempt to line of sight it through the pillars. We actually, spoiler, do not pull it off, but we tried it because again they were doing a 21 before this, so like this 19 to this group is like not a. I mean we're pretty happy. We you can certainly screw it up, but we're happy to do it. But they were doing a much harder one of this before, so this is like it's like, hey, let's kind of try some new tech to make the 20s, the 25s eventually like a little easier. So with this chargy boy here again, looks like our druid's getting it back there. It hurts. I don't know if he went bear or not. But so I think the thing is you need to pull. I've never done this successfully, so we'll see. But I think you need to pull the pack further back in the middle. And then we're trying it now. Like I'm being told, like, okay, it's gonna charge the furthest person, like go in the back. So I'm baiting to get the charge here, and I'm gonna try to go to the next side of the pillar, and it doesn't work. So that's not how we do it. So it didn't quite work. And so our mage who's good at baiting and Court of Stars, the last boss and whatnot. It's like, okay, this is his turn. He's gonna go try it again because this trash pack is so long. If we could do our attacks as well. This is this is happening. He's going to go bait the charge, and I think he had to ice block it, and it didn't work. So there's some way to do it. I've seen it. I'm just not sure. But one thing that does work is I can feign right here. Boom, feign. So that instantly turns around and hits the tank, and it's like, I get no damage, which is nice. And it doesn't move, so melee get uptime, which are kind of hard, not our hard guy, but like the person who's like really doing the most damage in this key is clearly our Feral. So, Feral gets full uptime. I hope in high keys we never pull all three of these, but in a certain sense, at a certain key level, I can certainly see that being the play. And you better bring like the A game burst at that point, because you're going to have the Scepter plus 4 books. And we have a lot of AoE stops in this comp. I have Wailing Arrow, which I don't have up. We have our Demon Hunter, big old stun like that. We've got Fire Breath, which is it's not going to stop all casts. And Ferals have something, I don't know what. And I'm pretty sure our Resto Druid has something too. So there's a lot of AoE stops. So potentially in the hierarchies we pulled this whole jam, but we're timing nice right now, and we don't need it time wise. It's not, this timer's not so tight. You'll see. I forget how many people have died. We haven't wiped, I don't think. I don't remember if there's any full wipes. I remember this being a pretty uneventful 19, which is interesting to me because again, AA used to be like one of the most stressful things in the world for me. Mostly the tree boss though. This part was never too bad, but the bird can go wrong too. Especially if there's if we don't quite have enough damage. It's a bit of a damage check with the orbs, the screeches. So if we get to 4 stacks of screeches on both and we have to use like the windy fire, then it's bad. Okay, see how many things just went off? We did luckily each call out who we were going to silence, and it looks like we got them all. I don't have Wailing Arrow. I'm going to get Omni CD after this, and Ruby Life Pulls. I need to know just in case who's got what. Generally our tank is calling it, but they got to live, so they can't always be on top of that. Every single time. So I definitely need Omni CD to know what people have. And I run with mostly the same comps at this point, so I kind of know what their stops are, like Warlock, Shadow Fury, and Mage Fire. But so I'll set up Omni CD myself, so I'll get that going. These shoot out the Spitefuls, but they don't actually make Spitefuls, which is very nice. I like that. That makes this pack a lot better. It would be pretty bad to do that double pull into 10 Spiteful, even like 3 or 4 Spitefuls into that Scepter pack would be nasty. Spitefuls on the 19 won't one-shot you, which is nice. I think it would take 2 Spiteful melees to kill me. So if there's extenuating circumstances where I need to run through a Spite, which I've already done and I will do later, I'll do it, and I'll live. It's just a little bit of healer. Just hopefully not like a bad overlap with like thundering or something like that. So something goes wrong in this one. I don't know what. This is another. I don't know. When I'm playing BM Hunter, I don't really like look at the screen, if that makes any sense. And we stop dropping stacks, so maybe that's obvious. But I'm prioritizing like kind of the big picture of what's happening on the fight, which there's orbs. That frontal would have killed me for sure. And when I get a circle, it means I'm gonna drop a purple puddle, and if you stand in that puddle, you're going to die. So that's pretty much that's a very common. Obviously, this is happening now too. Dropping puddles. That's a very common mechanic in these dungeons. It happens in Nokkut. It happens in Azure. Happens here. Happens again here. It happens in Shadow Moon Barrow Ground on the last boss, where like you basically, as soon as you get the circle, you could kind of go like 1, 2, 3, and then it's probably going to drop someone there, and you need to be moving already. And in Azure Vault, you want to be jumping. I've found works pretty well. Maybe it's just moving, and who knows. But it's kind of like BM Hunter on these higher keys where like priority is living, not so much damage. If everyone just does their damage, we'll be okay. Someone died. I remember something went wrong here, and they were trying to explain it, and I was like, oh, I don't know what that means. So I was like, I'm just gonna turtle then. So I'm turtling, eating orbs, clearing thundering, and I guess they resolved it. They were trying to explain like what happened. Like I think one orb hit him, and it like reset the cycle. But I'm a hunter. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm just big picture vibing, catching orbs, running around, and barely keeping up stacks. But hey, again, like non-lust, 45k single target, we all kind of average out in the end. Is what I found. Unless you're Kalamazoo and you just do 80k portal damage on every boss somehow. Because portal could certainly be up on a big fortified key. You're going to be killing trash for so long. You could definitely have portal if you wanted to on every single boss. And yeah, that's pretty big damage. But I imagine when I get the Rasbo and I'm 415, I'll probably be in the 60s single target, like not even trying as well, just gear level and scaling. But yeah, like what a chill AA run. How nice. I think I would have wanted to see this in the first month of the season. I was like really down on playing Hunter because like in the beginning, one, you don't do amazing damage. Was pretty good. And you die. And it's also just like people don't know the dungeons as well. You don't know the dungeons. You don't know where the damage is coming, what to kick. But it's kind of discouraging. Maybe that's everyone. I'm not so sure. But there was the hopium from the Hunter community that it's like, oh, BM scales. Like, don't worry. Just like, get to end game. And BM does scale damage-wise and I don't know about survivability, but I would say your survivability as Hunter isn't that you can feint every 30 seconds or 15 seconds like freaking Outlaw Rogue. It's that you never have to stop moving and you don't have to be in melee. And having played Rogue for a little bit, it is so dangerous to be up there. There's so many frontals. There's so many circles. Thundering is not so bad. You can just kind of clear with the tank or who's ever kind of near you and you're mobile. But the Hunter utility certainly is turtle when you know you fucked up and you know that something's going to come that's really bad and unavoidable. Feint certain gigantic boss abilities that most people are going to eat. You'll feint it. And just don't stand in melee and don't stand in mechanics. So I think it's basically at that point now, 4-piece mythic crafted bow, not the Rasbo, but we have the damage passively just by doing your rotation. Multi-dotting if you're like try-harding to get like the extra like 10% out of the pack or 20% out of the pack. It does make a difference, but if you're going to die or miss a kick because of it, it's not worth it. You dying is way, 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 way worse than having 10%, 20% less damage up here. It doesn't matter. Just be alive, and the keys will kind of time themselves. Has been my approach, and eventually I'll be so bored of this key that I'll multi-dot and get perfect uptime on everything, whatnot. But so we're up here. It's like a little thing, and it's not like I wouldn't say it was like well played or anything like that. Like we're multi-dotting, and we're doing like much better damage. But again, if you're gonna die because of it, it's not worth it. Plus, I need to not be two things. I need to not pull the trash behind me. There's a patrol. And I guess I could be down there. I should be down there. That would have been the better play. But we also need to not get too close to the whirlwind. 2 hits of that, I'm dead for sure. If I stepped into that, I'm super gone. And did we drop stacks? Looks like we did. But again, I'm not stressing stacks anymore, and this pack's pretty much dead. Spiteful sucks. And I decided to just eat one Spiteful hit. I know I can live that on a 19 at this point. And yeah, we just elect to run down the stairs, not into the trash pack, because like that's the I wasn't. But if you're not planning for it and you're like, oh hey, I gotta go, there's a spiteful gonna kill me. The choice between one eating a spiteful hit to run back and not pull more trash, or just die. Dying would be better than body pulling the trash behind me. Certainly, just die. That's an interesting call that happens in these middle to higher keys where like you messed up, but you're not going to kill the whole group. Just die. It's going to be faster, depending on the run back. It's an interesting call that has to kind of get made at a certain point. But I think if I had body pulled, we would have just taken. It was pretty dead enough, but it's not good, and it's not going to help the route. Like we kind of have our cooldowns and whatnot planned out on this count, on this cadence, on this lust pattern. Like we have lust up. Like this has been semi-planned here. This group runs together quite a bit, and I sub in every once in a while for. I think my spot's normally taken by a warrior, but they weren't on tonight, so I could definitely fill in a little bit, even though I'm a hunter. But again, passive. I don't do like the top damage as BM. If I was like wanted to like sit at the top of the meter the whole time, MM will probably do better. But there's multiple fights here. This one of them. Actually, all the fights, mobility is so important. And if I'm trying to min-max damage, like that's the reason I'm doing the key. You're going to have to sit some aim shots, and that's kind of scary. And I've certainly have recordings that I haven't put up of those runs where like I died. Yeah, for sure, because I was trying to like get my damage out. BM Hunter, straight vibing the whole time. I'm pretty happy that BM's at this point now. I'm probably going to do all my keys as BM, unless I get bored. I think Quarter Stars is kind of nice for MM. But even there's a bit of mobility, and the extra stun from Intimidate's pretty good there. That, yeah, BM kind of comes into its own around, like, 4-piece item level 405, something like that. I think we're sitting pretty nice. Full weapon, full enchants, etc. We're doing fine damage, pretty mid, but fine, not bad or anything like that. And have a tiny bit of utility with our binding and our wailing arrow. Wailing arrow is a big part of our rotation now. When I roll with a DH tank, it usually comes out like they're gonna silent sigil, then they're gonna stun, AOE stun, and then I'm going to wailing arrow, and then we have a mage, so we got a big old stun there. We got a bunch of stuns here, but I'll usually call out if I have wailing. Like wailing is up, that means I'm like third AoE kick. And then we have so much more in this group actually. Two druids is like, you got a ton of stuff going on with the stops. But wailing arrow is like a big one. You don't have an AoE stop as a rogue. It's kind of sad, kind of feels bad. But you have a lot of single stops obviously all the time. But I don't know, AoE stops are pretty nice. So I can see why Havoc is like the uber. Like you're pretty defensive, huge damage, and AoE stop is pretty nice. You don't have to think about it that much. And there's no cast time. Cast time with wailing arrow is like the worst thing. So we're dropping off all the pools over there, which is pretty good. And the only thing that's hard about this boss is that, okay, here we go. You got to get out of the circle, but then they're gonna astral breath you. And so our healer eats it right here. Right, that looks like they're convoking or something. Here it goes, spin, dead. I think it was an overlap too. I think they got an orb and they're a resto druid. Like they were booking it. I don't think they were in cat form or anything, but like that's like as fast as you can move out of that, And they've run this dungeon on a 21. Like they know what to do. But there's just certain timings with that frontal that's really unforgiving as ranged, where like if you're not, I've tried to just hug under the butt of that dragon so that if the frontal comes, I can move. If you're that far away and it spins towards you, by the time you know it's you, you're dead. And it happens to me all the time. But yeah, so this is like a super chill AA. Again, a coordinated guild group. They've done 20s of this already, so it's pretty chill. Everyone's doing their damage, and yeah, AA is real chill as BM now. It's one of my favorite keys. I'll check you later.